For a new low here. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Maxwell Starr. Tonight, we're going to...
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Jamie. Tonight, we're going to take a look at something that Greg actually sent me, which is what we all have tonight, obviously. This is a classic from Ontario. Devil's Pale Ale from Great Lakes Brewery, 666. Ooh, perfect beer for the spooky season. And also a classic Ontario Pale Ale, too. We'll get into more of that later. But first, we'll introduce who was actually the first person to show up tonight, which is Greg. Hi, Greg.
Yes, Nick. No more shaming for me, you shamer.
Yeah, you were here right at like 9 o'clock and sitting here offline.
Well, 8 o'clock normal people time.
Shitty malt liquors.
And yes, I'm very excited because both you and Lee, I believe, are going to be drinking my liquid tonight. And that very much excites me. Now, I wanted to send Ashley my liquid, but he put a stop to that immediately.
Yes. He knows better, I guess.
Yeah, like the can he sent that I was going to give to the Fuzz. Lee was here. Fuzz is taking a break from drinking. So Lee benefits.
I did. That's all I did this vacation was benefit. So
yeah, you had a lot of benefits this week, didn't you?
Yeah,
this last week. All right. Thanks, Greg. And let's move on to Redbeard. Hi, Carrie. How you doing? And also, this guy was in my basement a week ago.
Has anyone seen this? What is he saying?
It's a big penis. Don't forget it.
What the fuck, Chris?
Play that again, honey. I don't know how.
Where the fuck did that come from?
No, you're not playing it.
Okay.
I think it's on Chris's Instagram.
Hello, my name is Nick. I have a big sausage. It's a big penis.
All right. Carrie, Redbeard, follow that up.
What is going on?
I have no idea what's going on.
Amazing.
I can't follow that up.
Oh, TikTok.
Nice to be here. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
All right. And Mr. Ash. Hi, Ash.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Not too bad.
How are you, Nick?
Trying to get over that, whatever the fuck that was that Chris just played.
My name is Nick. I've got a big sausage.
Glad to be here. Awesome. And this should be interesting. Great.
Yeah, it's already gone downhill.
It's going great.
All right. Speaking of, let's kick this thing back uphill with Jamie. Hi, Jamie.
Hey, so do we
tonight?
give scores now? Good. I'll give it 4 Rontarios out of 5.
Yeah, not yet. All right.
Okay.
So, how you doing tonight, Jamie?
I'm good, man.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for coming on. And last but not least, we got Mr. Lee Russell of High Tide and Vibe. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, as you well know, Nicholas.
Oh, I know. The more you know. Yeah, but it's not more I know because I already know because I saw you actually happy for once firsthand last week.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean,
it wasn't terrifying. It was just confusing.
It's almost like I'm in some weird supernatural horror anthology series from Canada.
I'm assuming you're talking about the classic Canadian show Creep Show.
No.
Yeah.
Well, you could hitchhike to where that show was made here in Canada. All right, so that was really reaching for that one.
Good job.
All right, so let's get down to the history of this beer. So, Great Lakes Brewery's Devil's Pale Ale 666. The story of Great Lakes Brewery begins in Brampton, Ontario in 1987, opened by Bruce Cornish and a group of 4 silent partners. They chose the name Great Lakes as their 5 founders had the dream of eventually opening up a brewery all along all of the Great Lakes. The brewery began as a malt extract brewery, making a lager and an ale called Great Lakes Lager and Unicorn Ale, respectively. Within 4 years, however, Cornish and his partners had run out of capital, and to keep the brewery running, Etobicoke construction magnate Peter Balut Sr. agreed to purchase the brewery in 1990. Balut Sr. made switch to an all-grain brewery and relocated the brewery to nearby Etobicoke in 1991. Eventually, GLB would open a retail outlet at the brewery in the year 2000, selling 6-packs of Golden Horseshoe Premium Lager and Red Leaf Lager in bottles. In 2006, GLB launched Devil's Pale Ale 666 at the Toronto Festival of Beer, which became one of the first craft brewed hoppy pale ales to appear on LCBO shelves when it was first listed in fall of 2007. Helped me start the trend towards hoppier beers in Ontario. Kind of really, the launch of this gave people who loved hoppy beers a real taste for what hops actually tasted like, considering 2006 craft beer was still sort of in its infancy in Canada. So in 2009, with Balut Senior's health declining, his children, Peter Balut Jr. and Annetta Jewell, took over the day-to-day operations of the brewery. This change brought with it a new brewing team and new brands and marketing that led to new success for the brewery. Balut Senior would pass away Balut Senior passed away in 2010, leaving the brewery to his family to run, with Balut Jr. stepping up as president and chief brewing officer. So, of course, other beers that some of these we've done BA 101s on, some of them not. Beers from GLB include Canuck Pale Ale, Pompous Ass English Ale, Red Leaf Lager, RoboHop Imperial IPA, Octopus Wants to Fight IPA, Miami Weiss, Wheat Ale, Harry Porter, Long Dong Pilsner, had to squeeze that Long Dong in, and many more. So, Devil's Pale Ale 666 is a 6% ABV, 66 IBU Cascadian Pale Ale brewed with... oh, the luck went down the wrong hole. Hold on.
Oh, next
6... Yeah, I'm choking on my own spit. Sorry. Brewed with 6 select malts and 4 premium hops. Once a core beer in GLB's lineup, the beer was considered redundant after the 2014 release of Pompous Ass English Ale and was quietly discontinued in the fall of 2015. It was re-released in 2016 for its 10th anniversary and has since been brought back as a fall seasonal for 2020 and 2021, with this year's batch marking the beer's 15th anniversary. All right. So, before we move on to who's next, anybody want to read the comments?
I can read these comments.
Alrighty.
All right, so we have Off the 10th asking a question that we'll save to the end of the thing. We got the lovely Lady Leah Hardy saying sexy. I don't know who that's directed to.
All of us.
And then we have off the 10th saying
Jamie
big
probably,
sausage
actually.
Nick in the house. We have Lee going on to say weirdo, and apparently that's to me.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, we've had this discussion in person. You like the weirdo, so what does it say about you? Then we have Chris saying love the effect. Now he's yawning. We got Dan, Western Canadian reviewer, saying evil or something. And
Evil
we
dies
have
tonight.
evil. Fuck that movie. Then we have Off the 10th going on to say 666 is fantastic. Check it out on my YouTube channel. Shameless plug.
Wow.
Shame.
He has a channel?
Yes, channel.
I mean,
I guess.
he does.
Thanks.
I do have a question for everyone on the panel, though, while Nick's away.
Have you ever
Right
had
here.
a dreams that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
Just putting it out there.
Yes.
It sounds like me trying to ask a question right now.
Probably almost never all the time.
Yeah, right. Alrighty, so let's go over to Gorg. Gorg,
Nick.
what is your history with this beer? Let's get the big one out of the way.
Oh, I don't know. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have my Untapped in front of me, but back when this was a regular beer, and back in the days of I had never had very much craft beer, I made a trip to GLB, and I wanted to buy a bunch of different GLB beers. I had only tried their pumpkin the previous October, and this was like in the spring. And I was like, I want to try your different beers. So I bought one of each of the beers, except the Devil's Pale Ale, because the guy told me it was a dark beer. And I was like, I don't like dark beers. I want lagers. So I didn't buy this beer. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I probably would have hated it on first sip, because I hated Canuck the first time I had it too. Jesus, fuck, dude, relax. Fucker just jumped up and bit me. Little shit. But I think I did have it probably for the first time 2012, 2013, back when it was very much a regular beer. Once I started to like the hoppy beers, very much enjoyed this one. It was a black IPA, really, before I knew what a black IPA was. And was very sad when they got rid of it. But at the same time, kind of happy now that it's a seasonal because I can enjoy it for a month or two and then get excited again when it comes out again next year. So, I don't know. That's my history. I've probably drank like 300 cans of this in my life.
All right. Thank you there, Gorg. All right, let's go over to who we got next. We got the Redbeard, the Beard of Red. What is your history with this beer?
I want to say that when I went down and met Greg the first time, pretty sure I had a can then.
I think we did.
Didn't review it from what I have looked at my channel stuff, but I'm pretty sure we had a can.
At that point, we had 3 Bring Out Your Dead, and we were so far down the rabbit hole.
We tried doing the New England Octopus Wants to Fight. I still have that raw footage that I will probably never see the light of day. But
it should.
It should, absolutely.
This year, it being the first time it's in the LCBO, I have now had 8, maybe 9 cans or so. It's kind of something I'm a fan of. Not to spoil anything, but yeah, there's my history.
Cool. All right. Thank you, Redbeard. Let's go over to Mr. Ashley.
Yeah, my history is pretty much just like Redbeard's minus the Greg part. I haven't had this beer before up until this year because it was the first time I've ever seen it in the LCBO in my area. So prior to this, I haven't had as many as Redbeard has, but I've had a few. So, but yeah, really happy to have finally seen it because it was one that piqued my interest. So yeah, that's my history.
All right.
I wonder if they get any like stupid hardcore religious people being all pissed off that they have something like with that kind of label in the LCBO.
Probably.
Makes
All
me
right.
laugh.
All right, let's go over to Jamie. Mr. Jamie, what's your history with this beer?
Probably exactly the same as Ash's. Just like I've had a couple cans this year, but it was never available. As far as I know, like since, I don't know, 2014 or whenever I started kind of looking for different beers like this. So yeah, this is new to me this year.
Nice.
Back to you.
All right. And who's left? We got Mr. Lee Russell.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Oh, hello.
Hello. This is totally new to me. I mean, I've heard of it. You know, I've heard of it for years. Probably when I first started like talking to Albino Rhino and stuff, like years and years the fuck ago. So I've known about it as like a Canadian classic, quote unquote, for probably more than 10 years at this point. But yeah, this is my first time trying it. I was lucky enough to benefit where the Fox was having misfortune, where he, it's good that he's not drinking for a little while. You always got to take a break once in a while, dry out a little bit. But I benefited from that, thankfully, and I'm getting to try it tonight. So there we go.
You were going to say getting trashed tonight on Anders.
Oh no, I've got other beers for that. I'm drinking that fucking Orval tonight.
That'll be the
nice.
beginning of his trash.
Nice.
Oh, was that the one that Nick thoughtfully aged for you?
Yeah.
That's the one. That one has been
That has been in my basement for almost 7 years.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna drink that, and then I got some other fucking thing in there that I can't remember what I put down in the bottom of the fridge. But also, if I run out of that, I've got the pirate rum that Lee gave me.
Nice.
That I'm just gonna make rums and cokes with all night. So fuck it, I'm getting drunk.
Rums and cokes.
Fucking
I like it.
crunked. Alrighty. So,
Drunk, not crunked.
Right. All right. So let's put me up here because I want to talk. My turn.
Hi, Nick.
Devil's Hi, Greg. Sorry, Jamie. I didn't mean to insult you.
Wow.
Wow.
We're creamy now.
There's a copyright strike.
Alrighty. Probably got a copyright strike from the track to lead.
No one cares about the hitchhiker anymore except for me and Radar. That's about it.
Pretty much.
All right. Moving right along. So, how far back do I go with this beer? I will say this: I've never had it before, but I have heard of it. I've not only heard of it, I heard of this since before I even joined BeerTube. Like, I remember I went to the Fuzz's camp one year with the Heist Almighty back when I still used to talk to him. And he had brought a can of this back from Ontario, a trip to Ontario back in like 2009. And I remember going up to to Fuzz's camp and him drinking it there. And I remember looking at the can, I'm like, man, that looks pretty freaking cool. And like, it was a beer that I always kind of wanted to try, but I mean, by the time, like, nobody ever thought to send one to me from Ontario, because I mean, at that point, like 2011, 12, it was kind of like old school compared to some of the newer, more interesting stuff coming out. So it was just one of those things. Is like, okay, there's more interesting stuff to send in beer mails. And by the time I went up to the first Albino round of Beer Fest, they had discontinued the beers. I think it was still around the first one, but it wasn't exactly one we were interested in picking up. So it's just like, yeah, I never really got a chance to try it. It was never at the beer festival, so it's just like it kind of disappeared right as I was getting heavier into drinking Ontario beers that are more interesting. So just like everybody else's, but it is one that I've been wanting to try for years, and I'm glad I finally not only get to drink this, but also do a Beer Analysis 101 episode on it, which is pretty freaking cool. Alrighty, so I see that we have a shit ton of more comments. I'll give it to you there, Mr. Lee.
All right. So we have Off the 10th saying the more we know, of course. I mean, that is a thing that's important. Life is better with sound effects, and she's enjoying the names you gents came up with.
It's a penis, bitches. Remember that it is what I have in my.
Okay. Then would Chris Off the 10 saying, I see Arnold isn't allergic to human flesh. And then Lee pipes in saying, just everything else. We have Paul in here, PA Brew News, saying 666, Hail Santa, send me evil brews for Xmas. Alrighty. And then we have Chris with a bunch of comments here saying, does Jamie knit quilts in his spare time?
Yeah.
And I guess that's a comment on your backdrop.
Yep.
Yeah.
I made this.
It's a beautiful quilt.
It's very, very well done, Jimmy. Then he goes on to say, I love Carrie's shirt and the GTA graphics.
Oh, thanks, man.
Don't get too excited about the compliment, Carrie. And he goes on to say, Nick's camera is fantastic. Ashley needs to take his microphone out of his ass, apparently.
Jesus.
God.
Man, it's getting harsh here. Like, you fucking Chris, he just turns on a dime on people. It's vicious. He goes on to say that I'm in love. Yes, indeed I am. And then he says, hi, Paul. And that's it.
All right. So let's go back up to the main panel view here and shoot shit for a bit before we give ratings.
What is Lee being in love? I just feel that he's finally found somebody that he doesn't truly hate.
Yeah,
it's
more
I did not get overly excited about that fucking
Of
compliment.
all the
more
people
of
in the world, I hate you the least kind of shit.
He's intolerant. Like,
He's intolerant. I'll give you that.
He's able to tolerate someone.
yeah, that's it.
I feel like this last week is the most tolerant I've ever seen Lee.
Yeah, I mean, I even treated Redbeard like a human being in person. That was fucked up.
You're not wrong.
And it seemed that everyone got to slap Redbeard.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was fun.
I feel like we all indulged him in a fetish that he had not disclosed to us previously.
Well, that means I gave Redbeard the biggest erection because I think I slapped him the best. Didn't I?
There you go.
Oh, I thought you meant
it's like spanking, like for.
I thought you meant you literally gave him your massive erection.
I don't have that much room. I didn't have that much room in my trunk after with all the beer. It was free.
God.
No free space.
No, too much junk in the trunk for Redbeard.
It's like it'd be like for trying to add a manatee to my luggage. I don't have that room.
Paul, it's okay. The nicer Lee gets, the worse I get.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
It's just like a transference of like power. It just sort of gets like sucked from lean. It just sort of gets transferred right into
Something. The universe works itself out.
exactly.
Chris is saying, "I wish I was there." To be honest, totally jealous. Well, you could have got the beer.
Yeah.
I'll just wake up early in the
I think
morning.
he's talking about the piss up,
The piss up, yeah.
and
Next
I
time.
I second that. I wish I was there too. It looked fun.
It looked like fun,
Was-
but next year it'll be fun plus with a mountain bike track and drunk mountain biking. That's the way to go.
I enjoyed watching from afar because I'm recovering my liver, so that would have just killed me.
PA
I mean-
producers-
You might have been all right. I mean, Lee and I kind of drank in moderation compared to the rest of these fools. So
Oh yeah. Well,
I think he only
Oh,
went,
yeah.
went nuts like 2 nights of the
all
trip,
have our
really.
times, and there's nothing wrong.
What? I don't know if you want to say online, Ashley, but I didn't know you were recovering from something.
Oh no! I'm not recovering from anything. I'm just trying to
Oh, okay. I thought you
like
like
down
had
a little bit. You know what
I
I
thought
mean?
you had like a surgery or something.
Oh God, no. Sorry, didn't mean to give that.
Oh, you scared
yeah,
me.
he hasn't had his microphone taken out of his ass yet. So the surgery's still upcoming. That's what's going to happen.
That was fun. I think the most drunk I was the Saturday night, but it wasn't so much drunk as it was fucking high as balls. Thanks to
I love the
carrying Gengi, bringing weed and edibles and shit.
Oh,
I love that. I think the first night you guys
You
were
bought your own as well. There,
Oh,
my
I
friend.
bought my own edibles. You gave me a gummy too. It was,
Did you like go like, oh, this isn't doing anything?
Oh,
just
Nick must have
try
had a
another
great
few.
time.
Okay, this
Well-
this isn't a devil's lettuce review. Come on.
No.
guys.
Yeah, come
Get
on,
back
Jamie.
on track.
Jamie's a nice
all I could
Christian
say,
boy.
all I could say to that is like halfway through the night, I was just like, I believe I can fly. Not R. Kelly, but I mean, like it was just like I've seen
Oh.
see through time and shit.
Suddenly,
Like, it
it's
was like
suddenly
I
it's-
wasn't so much drunk. I was just like, airhead.
Well, thank God you guys weren't high up. Otherwise, it would be the opening scene of Lethal Weapon. Except,
Well, I was actually
Yeah,
thinking,
we're too old for this shit.
I was actually thinking more like Jenny from Forrest Gump with
Today,
There you go.
you know, when
I
she's
may
hanging
not
out
be a smart man.
the hotel
I know
window,
what
and
love
yeah,
is.
you don't want to be that.
Hotel window.
Jenny. All
That
right,
was a dark time for Jenny.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ready to give our ratings?
Things turned
Ashley,
out
that
for
was
Jenny
wrong.
at the end of the movie, though.
Yeah.
Ashley, things
Well,
turned out for Jenny.
Well, she got turned out by Forrest.
Thanks, Jenny.
Oh, hey-oh.
Ew. And then he squirted,
Hey-oh!
squirted in her, made Little Forest.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Greg, you're up.
Hi, Nick.
Greg.
So I'm going to start off by saying I'm probably going to overrate this beer. So hashtag deal with it. But I love this beer. This year's particularly good. I found some years better than others. Some years been a little bit thin, so Paul would not have liked it. This year, nice and thick. And although I will say the hops have faded a little bit because this has been out since early September. The hops have faded a little bit, but it's still fucking delicious. It's still amazing. I used to like this beer a lot back in the day, and I think they just keep perfecting it. I think this is the best batch they've ever made of it. Everyone knows I love a good black IPA, and it's a fact that most black IPAs are not good because most breweries don't know how to fucking make a black IPA. They make a fucking stout, they throw a couple extra hops in, they're like, there's your black IPA, motherfucker. That's not a black IPA. You take a regular IPA, you put pine as fuck in it, and you blacken it. And that's how you make a black IPA. That's science right there. Science.
Blacken it.
Science. Exactly.
Mhm.
And for some reason, GLP is one of the few breweries that knows how to make a proper black IPA. Now, I always say everything's better Imperial. GLP's made a few. They unfortunately nothing recently that I remember, but they made a few like Apocalypse Later, which might come out later this year. That's like 10%. That's even better than this. But this is pretty fucking awesome for what it is for the 6%. Honestly, I can't fault this beer whatsoever, so I'm going 10s across the board on it. It's perfect for the style because, quite frankly, it's not a competitive style, but they do it amazingly. They just do. And I love this beer. I bought 30 of them so far this year. I probably won't buy any more than that because that's probably my limit of drinking the same beer for 2 months. But I love it. I'll buy another case next year, and every other year they bring it out. Don't fuck it up, GLB.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Mr. Greg.
Cheers.
Go over to Rouge Beard.
copy and paste what Greg just said, except I don't find the hops to really have faded. This was canned on September 28th, so that's not even a month old at this point. I feel like this is still plenty hoppy. This is
So
like
mine's all
a
yours.
black, like you don't find a fucking black IPA anymore. Nobody makes them, and if they do, like they make them stupid. They don't know what they're doing. This, it pisses me off that this has been around for so long, and they just now finally decided to let the world have it, kind of thing, or at least the rest of Ontario, because yeah, this is delicious. And I'm with Greg, 10s across the board. This is fan-freaking-tastic stuff.
So Greg and Redbeard both 10s and 10.
I love this. It's nice and malty, but the hop presence is there. It's just the body is a bit like, I'd say, upper medium. Yeah, that's fantastic. Like we beer analysis, that Apocalypse Later, whatever it was. That was, I'm pretty sure I 10 that one as well. I guess if I had to rate them, this would be like a 9. That would be a 10 because that one was better in my opinion. But yeah, for being 6%, you can't go wrong. This is phenomenal. Lovely.
Nice. All right. So 10s and 10s for Mr. Redbeard. So let's go
Geese.
to Geese nuts. All right. Ashley, give us your spiel.
And unmute yourself.
What do you say
Thank
today?
you, sir.
Sorry, we almost had a photo. on here.
Give us your spiel. Thanks for the nice warm introduction.
You're welcome there.
Give us your load of bullshit,
Come
Ashley
on.
Sexton.
Jesus.
Hey, you're the one that can go into almost the greatest detail of all of
I'm
us.
feeling no love. Like, Jesus.
We love you. Come on.
I don't need you.
Yeah, I know. It's just like living in an abusive relationship. It's like having Greg around all the time.
Very much so,
Hi,
right?
Nick.
Hi, Greg.
So for me, the aroma, like a slight graininess, there's like some hop grassiness, lemon, and then a punch of grapefruit, and just like a touch of pine. But for me, it leans more grassy and grapefruit than pine, but that's just me. For the sip, there's a nice level of bitterness. It's not quite an IPA though. I mean, I know that they have it listed as 66 IB. See, here's the thing. So they list it as a pale ale, okay, which generally max IBUs is like 35 or something like that. But then they have it listed with like 66 IBUs. So why would they list it as a pale ale when they have the IBUs of an IPA? But for me, this drinks more like a pale ale, more so than an IPA. So when I had this a few weeks ago, I was like, yeah, this drinks very much just like Canuck, just like a little bit beefed up. So I wouldn't be too surprised if the hop bill's pretty similar too. But this one definitely leans more West Coast. It's on the sip, the pine pops through a little bit more, grapefruit all the way, a little bit of orange as well. So it's a little bit beefier than pale or than the Canuck Pale Ale. But yeah, I think this is so fun because like you don't have to just do a pale ale or something like that. You can just sort of mix it up, and there should be more beers like this within the other styles. And, just having fun with the style of a dark pale ale. So overall, I'm really enjoying this a lot. For style, I'm a little weirded out with the IBUs and all that, and the bitterness and stuff like that. But it still drinks like a pale ale to me. So for style, I'll just give it an 8. And personal preference, I'll give it an 8.5. I've been drinking this. If they made this a year-long offering, like a 365, if I grabbed a Canuck Pale Ale, then I would grab one of these as well. You know what I mean? Like just sort of a yin and yang. That's sort of how it sort of feels for me.
It would absolutely be a go-to beer for me if it was available all the time. Totally. If it's $3.25 a can here in Ontario, that is insane value for what you're drinking, in my opinion, compared to what some of the other breweries charge for like less quality. Really, like it's amazing.
GLB is definitely one of the best bang for buck breweries.
Well, and Greg said
especially
if you
if
go
you
to the
get it at
brewery and
Ontario
buy
price.
it, it's $3 a can. At the
Yeah,
brewery.
especially if you get it Ontario prices, like brewery prices, it's fucking cheap.
It's amazing.
The only other thing I wanted to add about this, which was sort of like an overriding thought I had, was that like on the malt side of things, it's very much like base malt, and then like specialty malt, like a little bit of the dark stuff. If it doesn't feel like there's a nice bridge of like some like sweeter caramel malts or anything like that to sort of like balance out the base and the darker malts, so it sort of lacks a little bit of that nice maltiness that you would expect from a darker beer like this. It's very like base malt dry and then like dark roasty. You know what I mean? So there's not like a nice sweet like tie-in between the two. Sorry.
Oh, good.
Had to get that in there.
No, all good. We love having it here. That's why we have you on. No, it's not just why we have you on, because we like you, but and you have the beer.
Wow, what a backhanded compliment.
Yeah, like just get the backhand and the forehand too. This is like a double slap. This is better than Kerry last weekend.
Yeah, you're treating him like Redbeard or some shit.
Oh. Alrighty. Thank you, Ashley. Let's. Who's left? We got Mr. Lee.
Hey.
All right. This one's weird. So most people here are sort of grading this on the black IPA scale, and I'm kind of with Ashley on this, where I don't really consider this necessarily a black IPA. I could see it like considered like the proto black IPA, I guess, when it first came out, kind of thing, right? Like where they hadn't quite dialed in whatever that bullshit style is. But as like a beefed up pale ale that's got some dark malt in it, that's a little bit roasty. Ashley's right. Like there's not like sweetness in the malt. Like it's very much dry and roasty, and that's kind of what it is. So it's like kind of more all the hops doing most of the fucking work in this beer. I don't quite get the grapefruit grassiness that Ashley's getting. I'm very much on the side of, there's quite a bit of pine in this, but it's not like black IPA levels where you think about a black IPA where it gets super dank and cat pee and pine and shit all over the place, and like a fucking bobcat peed on your fir tree and then shit on it and then you ate it up, kind of thing. It's not really that here. Like this is very subdued, very smooth, very easy to drink, and it's kind of unique. Like there's kind of nothing really else out there like it that I can really think of, other than black IPAs that are just like super beefed up versions of this that usually don't work too well for me. But so that being said, style wise, I'm probably gonna. I mean, if I was to rate it as a black IPA, it would be the best black IPA I've ever fucking had, because everything else I've had from the style has either been or bleh. So yeah, let's just go with that, I guess. I'll put a 9 on it for style. I think it's pretty fucking great. And drinkability, I'd throw a 9 at it as well. Like I could drink this all day, every fucking day, man. Like you said, it's like $3.25 a fucking can in Ontario. If I was living in Ontario, I'd be buying the shit out of this. I'd just be buying it all the time, stocking up on it like Greg does. So this is really good. 9s.
Awesome. Glad you liked it there, Lee.
Cheers.
And I think in the confusion over all the love fests for Ashley there, when we were backhanding with comments, I forgot about Jamie.
Oh, bad friend Nick.
In this channel.
Well, no, it's fine. Can you guys hear me?
Yep. Okay.
All right. I just wanted to make sure because, finally I get to go after Ashley and Lee so I can call them out of their fucking bullshit. Like, Ashley's talking about, it's a beefed up Canuck, and he's saying it's like leaning towards like lemongrass over pine, and I totally disagree with pretty much everything both those guys say. King of Beer Tube, no more. Kidding, of course. I pretty much agree. The one thing Ashley was saying about if there was like a little bit more of a roast to the malt, that would be probably like make it a 10 for me. The short story about it is just the fact that it has that hop character that just sticks with you for a long time after you take a sip. And that's rare nowadays. Like nowadays, it's all like everything you have is just juicy and it washes away, and there's not a whole lot of like a good aftertaste, which is where this one shines. Gonna give it 9s across the board. Great beer. And
Nice.
I also want to call out Greg for not delivering it to me. Like I had to go to my LCBO. It's like 5 minutes away. Like I had to buy my own.
You're a bad friend, Greg.
For shame.
I'm like,
Just shameful.
If it makes you
F
feel
you,
any,
Greg.
if it makes you feel any better, I'm gonna have my wife spank me tonight.
Ooh.
I don't know if that makes me feel better or not.
Nick
Will she
and
say
Lee just had to
James
show up to a fun party, and they
Would it make you
There
feel
you
better
go.
if I had my wife slap me on camera?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll see if she's up for it.
You have to grow a beard first, though.
big long beard and dye it red.
Yeah.
It doesn't provide nearly as much cushioning as you'd think.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of this beer. I hope they make more like this, and I hope they bring back the the other triple, the
She doesn't want to slap me on camera, but she'll slap me later.
Ooh.
All right.
what's the other one, Greg? The Apocalypse
Later.
Later.
Apocalypse
I feel
Later
like
is
Apocalypse Later was more chocolatey.
That never made it into the LCBO, I don't think. either.
More
Apocalypse Later
chocolatey and a bit
more or
more
less.
grapefruit.
Apocalypse Later is more or less the Imperial version of this. In fact, I think they changed the branding, but at one point, Apocalypse Later was actually called 999 Apocalypse Later. I don't think they call it that anymore. But it is pretty similar. But I think Nick is right. I think the Apocalypse Later has a little bit more of a malt body to balance the even more hops. But
But a callback to a few weeks ago, like Ashley was saying, like Collective Arts, could start changing things up a little bit. Here we go. Something like this would be awesome to go towards something like this.
well,
Couldn't agree more.
Well, I'm
Couldn't
gonna.
agree more.
I think with all that in mind, it's my turn.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, thank you, Jamie. By the way, that was awesome insight. All right, I'm gonna go to mine because I'm actually been holding on to this thought for a while, and I kind of want to get it out. Lee's assessment of this beer being a proto black IPA is correct, but this is. And I remember before black IPAs kind of came out in the scene, we had Cascadian Dark Ales, which is kind of like the proto form. Like it's like a dark pale ale with a lot of Cascadian region hops, so like the C's. Cascades, Centennials, that kind of stuff. Like the OG hops that we had for the original like hoppy beers, West Coast IPAs back in the mid and late 2000s. What I get out of this thing is like I get like a dusty, faint pine aroma out of the smell. On the taste, I get like little bits of chocolate, coffee, a lot of pine, spruce, white grapefruit. It's the finish is it's light. It's very light bodied. In the finish, with a dry finished pine resiny finish with a touch of like Maltese or malted barley chocolate. It's malted barley. It's like one of those like almost like a Wendy's frosty kind of chocolate. Like it's got that little hint of like it's not actual chocolate, but it's malted.
Oh, you're right. It does remind me of Maltesers a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
What I think about this is like when it takes me back to like when Cascadian Dark Ales were a big thing. It's because this thing here, when I'm drinking this, I'm like, holy fuck, this is fucking old school, and I love it. It reminds me, the one that reminds me the most, and this is a name that probably hasn't been dropped in a while, is Flying Monkey's Netherworld. Remember their Cascadian Dark Ale? They haven't made it in years, I think.
This is way better than that.
But this is way better than that. But it's that same kind of like that pine forward, almost like a West Coast ale, West Coast IPA with chocolate.
Yeah,
like but in a lot more pine. I find this is really fucking good. So if I rate it on a style of you know what, I'm gonna actually update my rating because I think this is worthy of like a 9.5 for the style. If you're going with Cascadian Dark Ale,
that's better than a neck.
Yeah, and for overall enjoyment, I love it.
I
fucking love it. It's like it's giving me that sensation of like this is like an ultimate retro beer. There's a little bit of like this kind of like palate numbing hop burn, not the kind like where it's oniony or it's just kind of like the back of my tongue is literally a bit numb. So there's maybe that's a bit like on the strong side. It's like say if you'd actually like took fresh hop and then ate it. I don't know why I ever did this, but that's the sensation I get from like eating a Cascade hop. Where I found it, I don't remember. But
Did you eat one of my hops?
no, I didn't.
Did you just
sure?
found it on the side of the
No,
road
I'm
one day when he was
pretty
walking?
sure.
I was missing one.
I'm
I
pretty
was
sure.
missing one. I was like,
I'm
shit,
pretty
that
sure it
one's
was at a
missing.
beer festival.
He was missing one.
I think it was at like the St. John Beer Fest. They had like Cascade hops, and then
Actually, numbers and tags every single individual hop.
Or it was somewhere. I was like some tasting. It's like, this is what hops actually taste like. And like, okay, piney.
Ashley walks into his room. Wait,
back of my tongue
something's
is
wrong.
numb. All right, so yeah, 8.5 for the for overall enjoyment, which is still on my own channel scale is like a 4.5. Yeah, 4.25 or something like that. 5. I still fucking love this. This is awesome. I wish I could get this here, and especially considering that this is $3 a can, and if you buy a case of it at GLB, I wish they would still make this regular, and I wish I could buy it here, because I'd fucking drink the shit out of this. I guess I'm going to hell because it's the fucking 666 beer, the mark of the yeast.
It's all right.
You're on a fucking
It's all
roller
right.
coaster straight there, dude.
Hell's not real.
It's true. It's just a construct for Mitch. All right, so let's go out and see what comments here. Lee, you want to read those?
All right, so we finished, I think, at basically Paul saying it's okay. The nicer Lee gets, the worse I get. So we moved on to 10 saying I wish I was there. Okay, we read that one. Paul saying balance is important. It's all about balance. Foolish drinking is also important. And he says, I'm smelling what Nick is smelling or selling. Okay. So he's kind of smelling what The Rock is cooking here, I guess. Paul is asking, did Nick pee on a woman too?
Yes.
Not that I saw, but who knows? It was a big hotel. Suddenly Nick, Chris saying, suddenly Nick started peeing on women.
It's not sudden. It was gradual.
Paul is saying that Freebird is playing now. This bird you cannot change. Okay.
Paul
saying going back to the whole Jenny on the
yeah.
Oh, you can't change.
Paul saying got to be quick, son. Dan deleted one message and then went on to say, "Wow, still live." Is that a statement about this, or are you surprised that you're still alive? I don't know which one that is, Dan.
I guess the latter.
And then we have a bunch of comments from the lovely Leah Hardy saying, when reviewing beers, I always think WWAS. What would Ashley say? Yeah.
I was saying WTF.
Okay. Then she... And I think she threw this at me. She says, come to Ontario. Well, come in Ontario.
Whoa!
Wow.
Then she says, hashtag bad friend Greg. And
I'm not sure. Like, she's probably right. I just don't specifically know why I'm a bad friend. Oh, this is maybe because I didn't ship it to Jamie.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
yes, that's right.
So I totally deserve it then.
Yep.
And then with the face slapping stuff, she's like, sounds kinky, Greg. And then you agreed everything you say sounds kinky, though.
Yes,
basically.
it does.
So
yeah. I was hoping my wife might slap me on camera, but she wasn't in the mood.
Oh.
Maybe later we'll put on a private show for you guys.
Greg, if I were there, I'd slap you on camera.
Nick, I have no doubt that you would slap me, given the opportunity.
I've already slapped one person on camera in this chat.
And the only thing that scares me, too, is that, Nick, you're not a very tall guy, so if you can't reach my face, you'll just hit me in the balls.
Hey, I was able to slap Carrie, no problem.
You gotta watch out if he puts his weight behind it, he can also almost knock you out. It's
Well, I was just like, I didn't want to.
At least he waits till you're prepared, unlike a certain someone who should be punched in his face.
Oh, Scott! Scott,
fucking
whack.
dick! Fucking slap me in the nose, asshole!
Oh,
oh
do you have the scores for this unparalleled beer?
Yeah. Well,
I think we're like record-breaking scores here tonight.
Oh yeah, I got the scores calculated, but we were at the comments all read.
Yep, we're good.
Alrighty, drum roll, please.
It's gonna be a high one.
Yeah.
High one.
There you go. So style 9.25, Overall, 9.17. That might well be the best Great Lakes Brewery beer score, and this includes Solstice, for fuck's sake.
No,
Solstice and Beer de
Solstice was
Zeus.
higher than that.
I can find out. I get the scores
Yeah,
here.
Solstice was. Oh, I wish we
Zeus
see
had,
some of the nasty porn Nick is into when he shows his screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see it. Would it be fun though if like it was style 6.66 and overall 6.66?
That actually would be amazing.
It would be very fitting. But
Well, the shtick with this, I think they've changed it because I think they were lying, but the whole thing used to be that they would use 666
that's some bullshit.
pounds of
That's
hops,
correct.
six malts,
There's
six-
Beer de Zeus. It actually scored better than Beer de Zeus.
There
On the
was a
back, doesn't
bad
it say like
bottle.
six hops, 6 malts, and 6% ABV or some
It's
shit?
four
Also, it
malts,
says-
6 hops. It's 6% ABV and 66 IBU.
Also, it says
That's it.
6.6 ABV on the back, but 6 on the front. So maybe they.
Well, no, they said they weren't able to do it all or some shit like that. They say.
Oh,
I
do
know.
they? Okay.
Yeah, the story on the back is kind of funny. I like it.
Okay, I haven't read the story in the back for a while. But yeah, that used to be the thing. Is everything they had like 6.66 kilograms of malt and blah 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 blah. Everything was 6.
That's
related.
you know what? Like if they're gonna do it and they want to go all out like that, why the hell not? I think
Well,
that
I guess the
everything
original-
everything is 6.66.
The-
Everything.
I believe the original brewing date for this was actually like I think it was June 606 or something like that. Like it was like they had a very specific 666 date as well.
Okay, you're making me really hate these
Nice.
guys. They're so fucking far up their own asses with this bullshit.
I like it. I think it's cool. Why not?
So basically,
Well-
Ashley was the one that tanked the score today, right?
I did tank the score.
Oh
but
my God,
I'll
actually.
be honest. Like it was a good beer, but I wasn't like fucking like losing my mind. Like it was
Yeah,
a good beer.
But
It was
your
a really solid
your
beer.
palate is just so far ahead of ours that you just
No, I
you're
mean it's a
simple
really solid
people.
beer. I'm very happy to buy this over and over again, but
Yeah, it's
I
not
don't
it's
know.
not that his palate is so advanced, it's that we're all so fucktarded, right, Ashley?
We're,
Is that
we're
what
all a
you're
bunch
saying?
of we're all a bunch of apes.
however you want to like cut it out there.
Well, and the other thing, I'll say Jamie. I think it was
That's up for
Jamie's
you.
comment.
That's a
I think was it Jamie who said how the hops in this they last, like basically like stuff that you don't really have hops that really last and linger in your throat. And those of you who are in the into the whiskeys, as they say, usually a whiskey that has a good finish is considered a good whiskey. It's often an older whiskey, and that's a good thing. And I like the same thing with beer. I want to keep tasting that beer that I just finished drinking. I want to taste it for a little while. And frankly,
There's almost nothing. There's almost nothing out there that does this nowadays, and especially a 6% beer. Like
Oh, we got a better
It's-
score here.
Yeah, there's Solstice.
No,
So
so
9 point. Yeah, Solstice just beats it. But that's crazy when you're talking about this is like some old school Cascadian Pale Ale. It's fucking beating like the juggernauts of modern day Great Lakes Brewing. Even like overall for beers that we've ever done on this show. Like this is like the new MGD.
I will tell you from having this every year, and like if we had this last year's version, it would have still been a very good score, but it would have probably been at least a point lower. Like I would have said it probably would have been well into the 8s. This year, I don't know what they did with it, but they just knocked it out of the park. And I hope next year they keep at it and don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
So we did have the question asked, gentlemen, early on by Chris. What's
asking.
next week's beer?
2 hours ago.
It's true. 2 hours ago, 48 minutes ago, we did get asked the beer, which I'm gonna in turn show myself here and say we're not doing a specific beer next week. We're going to do a beer, bring your own beer episode because next week is Halloween week. Ooh. And we're gonna do bring your own pumpkin beers. Not this beer specifically, but
Damn, I thought it was gonna be fruited sours. Shit.
Yeah, sorry, Ashley. Doesn't mean to disappoint. Fruited sours with lactose can be the
Fruited
next
sour pumpkin beers.
one. Fruited sour pumpkin lactose milkshake beers with
I was hoping it was going to be steam
IPAs.
whistle.
Oh,
Steam,
yes.
steam
Hey,
whistle.
does anyone
Bring
make a
your own
candy
steam
corn
whistle.
beer?
BYOB steam whistle.
Pumpkin steam
They
whistle.
got enough. They got it for a brewery who only makes
pumpkin
one
steam
beer
whistle.
really well. They got enough beers now for
That they make like shit.
Pumpkin whistle.
pumpkin whistle.
Pump whistle.
They got a was it that was it the steam whistle harvest ale or something? But it's actually
Harvest Ale.
Von Bugle or
It's
something.
fun.
Another.
Bugle.
Which I actually haven't had that yet. I need to do that checking.
I gotta
You need
get
to go
that.
have
We should
it.
we should BA that at some point.
It's the same shit.
I get it here.
Why
Yeah.
not?
We got one more two more comments here. First off, Lee Hardy saying she's got her pumpkin beer for next week, so she's gonna be on the show
Nice.
next week. And then she says, "This monkey's gone to heaven." Song reference. And all I have to say to that is, there was a guy, an underwater guy who controlled the sea, got killed by 10 million pounds of sludge from New York and New Jersey. This monkey's gone to heaven. I know the song you're talking about. I'm not that old. Well, actually, that would make me
I
old.
have no clue what you're talking
Yeah,
about,
me
but I'm
neither.
just gonna smile and nod.
Pixies is an old person's band now.
Oh, the Pixies.
Oh.
See, I never really listened to a lot of the Pixies or any really.
I didn't.
I
listen.
know they're like old school Irish kind of.
No, they're not.
New wave. Are they Irish? I
They're
thought.
from fucking
Who's the
Seattle,
Irish
aren't
one?
they?
You're thinking of the Pogues.
Yes, I'm thinking the Pogues. Sorry. I guess that goes to show I don't really know much about the Pogues or the Pixies. I just know that people have told me about them.
The Pixies have Frank Black, who's a big, jolly, fat guy who sings, and the Pogues have Ian McEwen or whatever the fuck his name is. He's got no teeth in his mouth.
Oh, good old guy who has no teeth in his mouth.
Yeah.
How many rock bands from the 80s are there that have a front, or 70s or 80s that have a frontman named Ian?
Probably too many.
Yeah. Ian Crichton of Saga. I've got Ian McCullough of I think it was Backhoe and the Bunnymen
And
or
pumpkin
something.
beers next week. Tune
All right.
in then, folks.
Yeah. All right. So let's go from there. We're gonna sign off for the night. So thank you all the commenters. We got Chris. We got Lady Lee. We got Paul. You know what? Fuck it.
Here comes the copyright strike.
Penis.